Now we will do one big problem, and the problem is called comprehensive budget problem. And in this problem, we basically will do all those budgets that we just learned so far. So this is one problem I actually made it by myself, and I tried to combine all those like the sales budget, production budget, direct material budget, and cash budget. So here is the information that you have, and we will make our comprehensive budget. So it will be a long problem. So get ready. Let's read the problem. The Shoe Pioneer Company manufactures and sells soccer balls. Shoe Pioneer has provided you with the following information for the upcoming year. So the budget we're gonna do for Shoe is for the whole year, next upcoming year, and the information is given here quarter basis. So budgeted unit of sales of soccer ball, quarter one 9,000, quarter two 10,000, quarter three 11,000, quarter four 12,000. And you have all this information here that you need to do to prepare all these budgets. The selling price for your production and direct material budget, how much they want to keep as their ending inventory, and for their direct material budget, the raw material you are considering is the feet of leather. Remember, the final product that manufactured is the soccer ball and their direct material is leather. So when we gonna do the direct material budget, we will take this information. Also, you have the leather cost, and then at the end, the last two bullet points are telling about their cash collection. So sales budget, you will see this information and how much they collect the current month, and how much of their credit sales they collect in the current month, and what portion they actually collect in next month. So we will use all this information and we're gonna do the budget. So of course I would suggest that before doing this problem, practice the other problem. And the solution is already on your blackboard. But if you could watch the video, that would be the great. So you will get the chance to know how I get all these numbers. So I already have the structure, some Excel tables that will make the problem quick and we do it quickly. So let's try to do it. And please remember, you have one assignment, which is just like this comprehensive budget problem. You need to solve that big comprehensive budget problem, and you have to upload that one on Blackboard by April 5th. So now let's do this comprehensive budget problem. It's for the whole year. So we will make it for every quarter. I can write it down the name of the quarter. Quarter one, quarter two, quarter three, and quarter four. And the final column will be for the whole year. You can write it down total or year. Make it total. More space. So we will do the sales budget. So for the sales budget, they have these budgeted units, how many balls they want to sell for every quarter. And we also know the selling price of this ball. Per ball selling price is $40. So we just take these two information and we will do a quick sales budget. So let's do the number of units they want to sell, and their product is ball. You can write it down, number of balls and number of units. For quarter one, it's 9,000. Quarter two, it's 10,000. Quarter three, it's 11,000. Quarter four, it's 12,000. You can do the total column later. Now let's multiply it by the sales price. So sales price per ball is already given here. Sales price per ball, if you check it, then you will find it here. Sales price per ball is $40. So now we're going to multiply all these units by $40. So let's do it $40. So for every quarter, we will actually multiply the number of balls that they are planning to sell by this $40, which is the sales price per ball. And this is how you will get their total budgeted or projected sales revenue. So let's do the total sales revenue. If you multiply these two, let's do it 9,000 times 40, and what I got, it's 360,000. Please do it with me. For quarter two, 10,000 times 40, and I got it's 400,000. For quarter three, 11,000 times 40, and I got it is, sorry, 11,000 times 40, and I got it it's 440,000. And then for our last quarter, it's quarter four, 12,000 times 40, and I got it 480,000. So now you got all of your projected revenue. Quarter one is 360,000, quarter two is 400,000, quarter three is 440,000, and quarter four is 480,000. Now we'll do the total. Again, there are two ways to do it. Let's do it across column. That means you can add all those number of projected units. So their total projection for the next year is, if you add this 9,000 plus 10,000 plus 11,000 plus 12,000, you will get 42,000, and we're gonna multiply it sales price, which is $40, and this is how we will get your total projected sales for the year. I got the big number, 1,680,000, and we will double check it. Now we're gonna add this here across this column, and this, you can also call it, this is your horizontal addition. That means add 360,000 plus 400,000 plus 440,000 plus 480,000. You should get the same number, 1,680,000. So once you get this number, you are done with your sales budget. Now let's do our next budget, which is the production budget. Remember, production budget is always in units. There is no dollar value. All these are in units. So now we will do the production budget. Again, I'll write down the name of the quarter. Quarter one, quarter two, quarter three, and quarter four. And quarter four. Now we will check that how many balls or how many units they actually need to produce. And of course, it depends on how many units they want to sell, how much they want to keep as their ending inventory, and what they already have as their beginning inventory. So now let's do it. So for their number of units that they want to sell, it's all actually given here. These are the balls they want to sell. So we will write it down, number of ball sales. And for quarter one, it's 9,000. Quarter two, it's 10,000. Quarter three, it's 11,000. And quarter four, it's 12,000. Right, so it's already given. Now, we already discussed it when we practiced the production budget from our textbook problem, that companies sometimes want to keep some extra inventory as their ending inventory just for as a safety cushion. So let's take if Shoe has this type of policy. Yes, should have that policy that the desired ending finished goods inventory. That means we are talking about our finished goods, which is our soccer ball. This desired finished goods inventory will be equal to 10% of their next quarter's expected sales. It's very clearly mentioned here. 10% of their next quarter's expected sales. So when we're going to do quarter one, we need to check what is our next quarter, which is quarter two. Then we're going to take 10% of it to calculate our desired inventory. So this is how we take 10% of it from our next quarter's expected sales. This is how we'll figure out our desired ending inventory. Now, when we will do the last quarter, we need to know what should be their upcoming quarters. That means the following year's first quarter sales. And it's also given here the expected sales in the first quarter of the year following the year given in the preceding table is 14,000. That means after this quarter four, the first quarter of the following year's expected sales is 14,000. So for Q4, we'll take 10% of that. So let's do the ending inventory here. So we add it plus desired ending inventory. Again, it will be 10% of the next quarter sales. So let's take 10% of our next quarter sales, which is 10% of 10,000. So if you take it, it will be 1,000. For Q2, we'll take 10% of Q3's or quarter three sales. That means 10% of 11,000, which is 1,100. For quarter three, we will take quarter four's 10% of expected sales. So quarter four's expected sales is 12,000. Let's take 10% of it, which is 1,200. And for the last quarter, quarter four, we need to check the following quarter's expected sales, which is given here. The following quarter's expected sales is 14,000 balls or 14,000 units. So we'll take 10% of it, which is 1,400. And this is how you can get the desired inventory for every quarter. Now we will write it down. What should be the total inventory that they will need? So I'm just adding these two numbers for every quarter, and we will call it total inventory needed. Right, so for the first quarter, they want to sell 9,000 balls. They also want to keep 1,000 balls as their ending inventory. So total inventory they actually need is 10,000. We'll do the same thing for second quarter. Total inventory they need is 11,100. I'm just adding these two. Now for the third quarter, we'll add this to 11,000 plus 1,200, which is 12,200. For the last quarter is 12,000 plus 1,400, which is 13,400. This is the total inventory that they will need. Now remember, they already should have some beginning inventory. Of course, one quarter's and ending inventory will be the next quarter's beginning inventory. So they actually don't need to produce those inventories. So to know the exact amount that they need to produce for a specific quarter, we're going to subtract the beginning inventory. Now let's try to subtract the beginning inventory. Beginning inventory. Well, for beginning inventory, it's a little bit tricky for the first quarter because we need to think of it. What should be the beginning inventory of first quarter? So definitely the previous year's last quarter's ending inventory. We don't know the previous year's last quarter's ending inventory should be this year's first quarter's beginning inventory. Right. So now try to think of it. What is the ending inventory policy? The ending inventory policy is the 10% of your next quarter's expected sales. So if we think of our past year's quarter 4, their desired ending inventory should be 10% of this quarter 1's expected sales. That means 10% of these 9,000 units. I'm repeating. For their past year's last quarter's desired ending inventory should be this 10% of 9,000 units. And their past year's last quarter's desired ending inventory will be this quarter's beginning inventory. So this is how you could figure it out that for first quarter's beginning inventory will be 900 units. This is again the short. It is 10% of this expected sales. Now for the subsequent quarters, it's actually very simple. Last quarters or the past quarter's ending inventory will be this quarter's beginning inventory. So when you are doing Q2, look at Q1's ending inventory, which is 1,000 units. So this will be Q2's beginning inventory. So now I'm subtracting Q2's beginning inventory, which is exactly Q1's ending inventory. For Q3, it will be Q2's ending inventory. So Q3's beginning inventory is Q2's ending inventory, which is given as 1,100. Again, for quarter 4, the beginning inventory will be quarter 3's ending inventory, which is, we already see it from this table, 1,200. That means we can easily figure it out the beginning inventory based on our past quarter's ending inventory information. And this is how we found that quarter 1's beginning inventory is 900, quarter 2 is 1,000, quarter 3 is 1,100, and quarter 4 is 1,200. Now once we know all this information, we will figure it out actually the number of units that the company needs to produce. So now number of units needed to produce. So now this is the total inventory need, and we're going to subtract our beginning inventory. So for quarter 1, it's 10,000 minus 900, which is 9,100. Quarter 2, that's 11,000 minus 100 minus 1,000, which gives you 10,100. For quarter 3, it's 12,200 minus 1,100, which gives you 11,100. And for the last quarter, it's 13,400 minus 1,200, which gives you 12,200 units. So these are the balls they actually need to produce. Ultimately, they're going to produce these balls. Remember, all these are in units, number of soccer balls. Now we will do the total column. So total, or you can call it total year, and you could do it in 2 ways. Let's add all these quarters expected sales. These are their budgeted or expected sales for every quarter. So if you add all these, you'll figure out what they're expecting to sell for the whole year. That means 9,000 plus 10,000 plus 11,000 plus 12,000. You will get their total sales is 42,000. Now for the total year's ending and beginning inventory, it's a little bit tricky. Remember, the ending inventory for the whole year will be actually the last quarter's ending inventory. You cannot add all this. Remember, it's a very common sense, very simple. Last quarter ending inventory will be the total year's ending inventory. Ending inventory means the inventory that you will have on the last day of the period. So last quarter's last day is actually the whole year's last day, right? So we're gonna use this quarter 4 ending inventory, which is 1,400 units. Now, if you add this two, you will find it out. It's 43,400. Now we're gonna subtract our beginning inventory. Again, you cannot add all these things. Remember, the whole year's beginning inventory will be the first quarter's beginning inventory, because first quarter's first day is the entire year's first day. And whatever the inventory you had on that very first day will be the whole year's beginning inventory. And you see here their beginning inventory for quarter one is 900 units. So that will be your whole year's beginning inventory. So I'm subtracting 900. Now, if I subtract this 900 from 43,400, I got 42,500 units. So that's their grand total. Again, we will also double check it. So if you add across these columns, let's do it, 9,100 plus 10,100 plus 11,100 plus 12,200, you should get the same number, which is 42,500. So of course, you should take it in both ways. Please take it by using the vertical information and also by using the horizontal information. And your grand total must be the same numbers, and this is how you can double check your problem. Now we're going to do the direct material budget. The direct material budget is, of course, it's based on your production budget. That means they are planning to produce these units. So how much direct material they actually need and what's the cost. Remember, direct material budget, majority portion of these budgets are in terms of units. Only in the last line we will multiply to it by the cost of the direct material per unit, and this is how we will convert the final line into cost. So let's do this direct material budget, and it's actually a little long budget, and I'm trying to show the whole thing, so it's a little the font's a little small since I actually zoom out a little bit, but I hope you can see it. Okay. So let's do it. The direct material budget again will have for quarter one, quarter two, quarter three, quarter four, and then we'll have total year. And we will start with where the numbers where we ended here up with our production budget. So now from our production budget, we know these are the units we need to produce, right? Number of units needed to produce. Now, based on these things, we will check it out how much raw materials they actually need and what's the cost of the raw materials. So the starting point of your direct material budget will be the ending point or the ending numbers of your production budget. That means I'm just copying these things. We'll do the same thing when you're gonna do the direct material budget. You will start with this number of units that they want to produce. Remember, these units are what? These units are soccer ball, right? These units are soccer ball, and ultimately we'll figure out the amount of direct materials. And here the direct material is leather. Right now these units are soccer ball. Now we need to check how much material we need for every soccer ball. And the information is given here. So if you go down here, then you can check here. It says that each ball requires 3 feet of leather. Here leather is the direct material. So for each ball they need 3 feet of leather, and these are the balls they're gonna produce. So we will multiply these balls by 3, and then we will figure it out actually how much leather they need. So let's multiply it, and I'll write it down. Number or the amount of direct material and in this case it's leather. Let's zoom in a little bit so that you can see better. I can scroll up and down. So we are multiplying the number of direct material, in this case leather, that we actually need to produce all these balls. So it's actually in feet. So if you want, you can write it down. It's actually in feet. Since it will make the table bigger, I'm not writing it down. This is the leather, and from now everything will be in feet. Right. So for each ball, we need 3 feet of leather. Right. So now we're gonna multiply it by 3, and we will do the same for all other quarters. Multiply every quarter that targeted ball they want to produce by 3. So if you multiply this, then you will get your total direct material that needed for this production. Right, to meet this production need, total direct material they actually needed, we can call it direct material needed for production. So if you multiplied it 9,100 times 3, you will get 27,300. Then second quarter 10,100 times 3, and you get 30,300. Quarter 3 11,100 times 3, you get 33,300. Then for quarter 4, 12,200 times 3, and you got 36,600. 36,600. So this is how you will get the direct material needed for production. Even for direct material things, they will also try to keep some ending inventory, and they will have some beginning inventory. So let's take what's their ending inventory policy. It says that the desired ending direct material inventory is 20% of next quarter's production need. Right. So whatever the next quarter's production need, they will always keep 20% of it as their desired ending inventory. So if we focus on quarter 1, then we have to check what is the next quarter. That means quarter two's production need. Right. So when you are doing quarter 1, you will check quarter 2, and you see that quarter two's production need is 30,300, and according to this policy, 20% you will keep as desired ending inventory. So now I'm gonna add my desired ending inventory. Means again the policy is 20% of next quarter's production needs. So take 20% of it, that means 30,300 times 0.2, and we will get 6,060. Then for quarter 2, take 20% of quarter 3's production need. That means 33,300 times 0.2. So if we do the numbers, 33,300 times 0.2, I got it 6,660. For quarter 3, we have to look at the production need for quarter 4, which is 36,600, and then we'll take 20% of it. So 36,600 times 0.2, and I got 7,320. And for the last quarter, we actually need to know the following quarter's production need. And it's actually given here. It says that the expected number of balls need to be produced in the first quarter of the following year is 15,000. Now try to think of it. They actually want to produce 15,000 balls. So in terms of leather, how much leather they need? 15,000 times 3, which is 45,000 feet. Right, that's actually their following quarter's production need, and they will take 20% of it, and they will keep that one as their desired ending inventory. And if you follow it, you will find their last quarter's desired ending inventory. I'm repeating, for your last quarter, you need to check what is the following quarter's production need. And they actually mentioned it. But please note that this following quarter's information is in terms of number of balls. So for the following year's first quarter, they want to produce 15,000 balls. So in terms of direct material, or in terms of number of the feet of leather that you need to multiply it by 3, so 15,000. For each ball, you need 3 feet of leather, so 15,000 ball, you need 15,000 times 3, which is 45,000 feet of leather, and then take 20% of it, that means 45,000.2, and you will get 9,000. So that's the ending inventory for quarter 4. And if you add these two, then you will find what is the total direct material needed. Total direct material needed. So let's add this for quarter 1. It's 27,300 plus 6,060, and I got 33,360. For quarter 2, it's 30,300 plus 6,660, and if you add these two, you will get 36,960. For quarter 3, their production need is 33,300 plus they want to keep some desired ending inventory, which is 7,320. So add these two, you will get 40,620. For Q4, that their need is 36,600 to meet the sales demand, and they also want to keep some ending inventory 9,000. So let's add this to 36,600 plus 9,000, which will give you 45,600. Right. Now we will subtract the beginning inventory. Right, because beginning inventory, they already have those leathers, so they don't need to buy those leather again. So we will now subtract the beginning inventory. And we know that for a certain quarter, the past quarter's ending inventory will be this quarter's beginning inventory. Right. So now we have to check for quarter 3, 2, 3, 4. It's simple since we already see our past quarter's ending inventory, but for the first quarter, it's a little bit tricky. So for the first quarter, you have to check what was this first quarter's need, and the policy is to keep always 20% as their beginning inventory. So that means we have to think of it, what were the past year's last quarter's ending inventory. Right. So this past year's last quarter's ending inventory will be based on this next quarter's production need and 20% of it. That means if you take this 20% of it, you will find the number. So when we are thinking of our past year's last quarter, we have to look at the following quarter, which is quarter 1. Quarter 1's production need is 27,300. And as per the company policy, they always keep 20% as their ending inventory. So Just this past quarter, their ending inventory was 20% of this. If you take 20%, that will be the past quarter's ending inventory, or in another sense, you can say that will be the this quarter's beginning inventory. That means take 20% of this. 20% of 27,300, and it will give you the number for the first quarter. Beginning inventory is 5,460. Well, the first quarter is a little bit tricky, but the rest of the quarters we know the past quarter's ending inventory will be this quarter's beginning inventory. So when you are doing quarter two, look at quarter one's ending inventory, which is 6,000, 6,060. Again, for quarter three's beginning inventory will be quarter two's ending inventory, which is 6,660. For quarter four's beginning inventory will be quarter three's ending inventory, which is 7,320. Right, this is how we will check actually how much leather or direct material they need to purchase. So that was this row, this was their production need. They already have some beginning inventory, so you're gonna subtract this, and this is how you will get the total direct material needed to purchase. Right. So total direct material that they need to purchase is, let me do one thing, it's taking so much space, maybe I need to reduce this space. If we can save some space. Okay, better. So this is how we will find out how much leather they need to purchase. So let's subtract this 5,460 from 33,360, and I got 27,900 for quarter two. 36,960 minus 6,060, I got 30,900 for quarter three. 40,620 minus 6,660, I got 33,960. For quarter four, it's 45,600 minus 7,320, and I got 38,280. So this is their production need. This direct material they need to purchase. Now we will multiply it the price of those direct material. In this case, this is the cost of those leather per feet. Right. So we are multiplying price per unit of direct material, and it's actually the leather cost per unit. Right. So if you check the problem, you will see that the leather cost per unit is, it's actually given here, $10 per feet. So now we're going to multiply everything by 10. Right. So we know that for quarter one we need to purchase 27,900 feet leather, and the cost per foot is $10. So we're going to multiply this, and this is how we actually will figure out the total cost of the direct material. So it will be the cost of direct material. So let's multiply it, which is simple. So you see, up to this everything was in units. First we started with number of balls here, then we converted it into feet, leather feet, and then in our last line here, last row here, multiplying it by this cost dollar value, and the last result is in dollar value. So if you multiply it, quarter one, $279,000. Quarter two is $309,000. Quarter four is $339,000. Quarter three is $339,000. Quarter it's actually $339,600. If you check it, if you multiply this 33,960 times 10, it will be 339,600. And for the last quarter, it's 382,800. So this is how you can check every quarter's cost of direct material. Now what we're gonna do, we will add this number to do the total cost. So if you add all these 9,100, 10,100, 11,100 and 12,200, you'll find the total number of balls that they want to sell is 42,500. Then multiply this leather, 3 feet leather they need. That means total leather they need. It will be 42,500 times 3. I got 127,500. Then for the whole year's desired ending inventory will be actually the last quarter's desired inventory. We discussed it many times and we know why. Now if you add these two, that means 127,500 plus 9,000, then you'll get your total direct material needed for the whole year. It's 136,500. And then we're gonna subtract our beginning inventory again. Beginning inventory will be actually your first quarter's beginning inventory, which is 5,460. So let's subtract it as 5,460. So 136,500 minus 5,460, that means the actual material they need to purchase is 131,040 feet of leather. And the cost per foot is $10. And if you multiply it, you will find the total cost of their direct material for the whole year will be $1,310,400. Now let's check it by adding this number across the column. That means add 279,000 plus 309,000 plus 339,600 plus 382,800. You should get the same number. Well, it's a long problem, I know. Direct material budget is the longest budget. So I really request you to practice, because you need to do this assignment which will be graded, and of course it will be on your final exam. Right, so it looks like this. So I think I can reduce this space just to squeeze it a little bit, and so that you can see the whole thing together. Before we do our last budget problem, which is our cash budget. So let's do the cash budget. And that's a long problem, and thank you very much for keeping your patience. So cash budget, cash collection budget is the last piece, and it's we actually need to do the cash collection budget, and I prefer to split it out and try to do a couple more extra lines so that it will make our calculation easier. Again, we will do quarter one, quarter two, quarter three, quarter four, and we'll do the total year. Right. Now we will do some extra lines just to split it up our total sales into two parts, cash sales and credit sales, and then we'll show it how much we're gonna collect every quarter. Right. So that means you need to know what will be our total sales. And for this one, you need to go back to your sales budget. So let's see. So if you go to here, go to your sales budget, which we did at the very beginning, these sales revenues, you can take it from here and then we will use these numbers and we will split it up into two parts, which are our cash sales and credit sales. So these are our projected sales revenues, which we did when we did our sales budget. Now the information is given here that 30% of sales are cash sales and 70% are credit sales. So let's split it up into two parts. One is cash sales, which is actually 30%, and another is the credit sales, which is actually the rest of 70%. So now let's split it up. Quarter one, take 30% of 360 and the remainder will be your credit sales. And I found the cash sale for quarter one is 1,108,000. And now everything is in dollar value. And the rest of the 70% of their quarter one sales revenue is their credit sales. And I found it's actually 252,000. And this is how you will split it up your quarter's first quarter's cash and credit sales. Let me do a little bit editing here. I can make it a little bit smaller so that I can show the whole thing all together. And I can zoom in it. You can see it better. Okay, so let's do it in this way. So now we splitted it up. It is our first quarter, and now we will do the second quarter again. Do the same thing. Total sales, take 30%. Quarter two, total sales is 400,000. Take 30%. That means their cash sales is 120,000, and their credit sales will be the rest of the 70%, which is 280,000. Now let's do quarter three, and for quarter three information, we have total sales for 40,000. Take 30% of it, which will be your cash sales, and I found $132,000. And your credit sales will be the rest of the 70%, which is $308,000. Now for Q4, total sales is 480,000. 20%, 30% of it will be your cash sales. So take 30% of 480. I got $144,000. And the 70% of the remainder will be your credit sales. So take 70% of 480. I got $336,000. $336,000. So this is how you can split your total sales into two parts, and that will be helpful to do our real cash collection budget. Right, so we actually splitted all these total sales into two parts, and we showed it separately how much will be our cash sales and how much will be our credit sales. Now let's do, this is kind of our extra calculation. I love to do that. Now let's try to do our real cash budget problem. So cash collection, how much cash they're gonna collect in quarter one. Of course, all of their cash sales, they're gonna collect it. right away because these are pure cash sales. So now we're gonna use these cash sales numbers, which is already given here, and that is for Q1, it's $108,000. Now we need to think of it these credit sales. How they're gonna collect it? So their policy is that credit sales are collected 60% in the quarter of the sales and 40% the following quarter. That means when you are doing Q1, look at this credit sales, which is $252,000. That means we will collect 60% of $252,000 in Q1, and the rest will be collected in Q2. So now we're gonna do it like this way. Let's write the table. 60% of credit sales made in current quarter. Right, so now we are collecting the 60% of Q1's credit sales. So take 60% of $252,000, and I got it. It's $151,200. Now they actually collect the rest of their credit sales in the following quarter. So when you are doing this first quarter, you have to check what was their past quarter's credit sales, and 40% of it they're gonna collect it now, and it's actually given here very nicely, very simple. Credit sales in the fourth quarter of the year prior to the year given is $350,000. So let me do the calculation. So $350,000 is their past quarter's credit sales, and 40% of it will be collected in this quarter, Q1. Right. So now if I write it, I can just put a little explanation, which is 40% of credit sales made one quarter ago will be collected in this quarter. That means the past quarter's credit sales was $350,000. Take 40% of it, and I got it is $140,000. Now that's it. Yeah, now we're gonna do our Q2 again. Q2's cash sales, which is already given here, right? It's how much? 120,000. 120,000. So these cash sales for Q2, they're gonna collect it right away. And look at this Q2's credit sales, 280,000. 60% of it they will collect it. So take 60% of 280,000. 280,000 times 0.6, which I got $168,000. So let's do it here. $168,000. Now they're gonna collect 40% of their past quarter's credit sales. So that means when you are doing Q2, their past quarter is Q1, and Q1's credit sales is $252,000. So let's take 40% of it, and they're gonna collect it in Q2 here. And I found if you take 40% of these credit sales, you will get 100,800. Let's do Q3. Q3's cash sales, which is given $132,000. That will be collected right away. $132,000, and 60% of Q3's credit sales will be collected in Q3. That means take 60% of 308,000, and I got it. It's 184,800. And when they're in Q3, they will collect 40% of Q2's credit sales. So Q2's credit sales is 282,000. So take 40% of it, and I did the calculation, and I got 112,000. Now for quarter four, again cash sales, they're gonna collect it right away. Quarter four's cash sales is $144,000, and 60% of quarter four's credit sales will be collected in quarter four. So quarter four's credit sales is 336,000. 336,000. Let's take 60% of it, and I got it 201,600. And they're gonna also collect 40% of quarter three credit sales, which is quarter three credit sales is $308,000, and 40% of it will be collected in quarter four. And if you take 40% of 308, what I got is 123,200. This is how you can show that the portion of credit sales that are actually collected in all these quarters. Now it's time to do the total. So let's do the total cash collection. Right, it's very simple. There is no trick like beginning or ending inventory. We'll just do the total things. Right, we could do it either way. But you should do it both ways. But you can start with either way. Right. So let's do quarter one. So quarter one total cash collection budget will be this three numbers. Remember, our actual cash collection budget is here up to this. This is our actual cash collection budget. But these previous parts are actually some workings. Right, so this is our actual cash collection budget. So when we're gonna do the total, we'll consider only up to this. So for Q1, let's add this thing. 108,000 plus 151,200 plus 140,000, and what I got is 339,200. For Q2, add this 3. 120,000, 168,000, 100,000, 800. If you add this 3, I got it 388,800. Now for quarter 3, if you add this 3, which is, oops, I missed a 0 here, which is 132,000 plus 184,800 plus 12,000, I got it, which is how much? Can you tell me? It is 428,800. The last quarter, add this 3, 144,000, 201,600, and 123,200, and I got 468,800. Now I'll do this way, and then we can check the total. Now if you want, you can do this total first and then check it, or we could do it here, the vertical one, and then we can check it. So this part, again, this part is just your working. It's not your main cash collection budget, right? So now again, you're gonna split it. You can either take it the 30% of it, 30/70, or you can just add across the column. That means if you add all these cash sales, I found it is 504,000. Again, if you add all the credit sales, I found it 1,000. Let me check it, 1680.7, and I got it. It's 1,176,000. 1,176,000. Right, now we will do the actual cash budget. So for cash sales, let's add this. This 4 quarters, we actually did it here, and it is 504,000. Right, this is our total cash sales. Now for This one, the second collection, is 60% of the current quarter's credit sales. So if you add these four numbers, that means 151,200, 168,000, 184,800, 201,600. The total you will get is 705,600. Now for the last collection, which is actually 40% of the credit sale that was made a quarter ago, and we need to add all these numbers. Four numbers: 140,000 plus 100,800 plus 112,000 plus 123,200, and I got it. It's 476,000. 476,000. Now let's add these three numbers: 504,000, 705,600, 476,000. That is our grand total, 1,685,600. Now let's recheck it by adding all these numbers: 339,200, 388,800, and I'm actually doing it. Please do it with me. And of course, during your exam, you will double check it the both ways. Plus 428,800 plus 468,800, and I got the number. So if you get the same number, 1,685,600, then you are done. So please try to check it into both ways.